Deuteronomy, the 8th chapter, verses 1 through 3. In the King James Version, it reads like this. All the commandments which I commanded thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what is in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread alone, bread only rather, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doth man live. For a few minutes this morning, I want to talk to you with this thought in mind. It wasn't negative, it was necessary. It wasn't negative, it was necessary. In the book Crescendo, as the character Nora is talking with her boyfriend Patch about their oftentimes tumultuous relationship, Nora says to Patch, sometimes bad things happen before good things can. This is a hard truth. Very hard truth. Accepting this statement as truth can be difficult because it challenges our belief that all things bad are bad. That's just it. It's bad. There is no good that can come from something bad. And no, I'm not turning into Preacher Paulie. I'm not finna, go down the road like Preacher Paulie did. But the Bible does state that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. For example, if Jesus was just any other wrongfully convicted man who was executed, then yes, a bad thing happened and that's it. It was a bad thing. We move on. Maybe he'll get a posthumous pardon. They do that nowadays. And they say, oh yeah, okay, we were wrong. But it's just a bad thing that happened. Nothing good come of it. But because there was a reason and a purpose already preordained to his death, although he was wrongfully convicted, although he was executed on the cross, Jesus' death had meaning to it. There was a purpose to it. His death was a bad thing, but it brought about some good things. I just told you what it said in the book. Sometimes bad things happen so that good things can. See, if Jesus doesn't die on the cross, there is no remission of sin. If Jesus doesn't die on the cross, there is no salvation. If Jesus does not die on the cross, that's a bad thing. We all going to hell. It wasn't negative. It was necessary. I don't know about you. I'm going through enough hell to leave here and go through hell for eternity. Our text occurs around 1450 BC. And at this juncture, the children of Israel are standing on the precipice of entering Canaan. Our text is part of Moses' final address before his death and God's people entering the promised land. And in Moses' final address, he reminds the children of Israel how they've been tested and how God has provided. Moses tells them what to expect in the promised land and calls them to gratitude and obedience when they get there. Because there's nothing they're earning, it's something they're being given. In verse 2 of our text, Moses tells the children of Israel that there were two things that God needed to do to them in the wilderness before they could receive the promised land. The first thing God had to do was humble them. Humble them, bring them down. He had to humble them. He had to bring them down. Have you ever had a humbling experience? See, a humbling experience breaks us down and it shows us, it allows us to see who we are not. God had to break the children of Israel down in the wilderness and show them who they are not in order to build them up and show them who he is. The other thing that God had to do in the wilderness was to prove them. He had to prove them. Now, let me give you proving this way. Let me show it to you this way. The proving process for steel requires you to go through a copious amount of heat and fire, followed by a rigorous amount of hammering before it can be purposed. It's got to go through something. It's got to experience some hardships. It's got to go through some roughness. It's got to go through some hell before it can be purposed. My brothers and sisters, steel is proven to remove impurities. Steel is proven to verify its composition. Steel is proven to ascertain its dependability. And steel is proven to determine its tensile strength. How much can it take before it breaks? In other words, God had to take you through what you went through, or take them through what they went through, in order to take away what didn't belong. To find out what you're really made of, to find out how much he can count on you, and to find out how much you can withstand before he could purpose you. You had seen through some stuff. I came to tell you this morning it wasn't negative. It was necessary. Have you ever eaten stroganoff? Now I know this ain't for everybody. This question ain't for everybody because some of y'all was born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Some of y'all been living house to hog all your life. You know, some of y'all living so house to hog now you don't even remember what a struggle meal was. Anybody ever had to eat a struggle meal? You know, pork and beans for dinner. Might have hot dogs in it, might not. That little itsy bitsy piece about that big and fat back that's in there might be the only meat, and you be hoping it end up in your bowl. Or maybe you had the, you ain't had Kraft growing up. You ain't eat that good cheese. You ain't had no Gouda and goat cheese and all that good stuff. You had to try to cut some government cheese. It is to make a grilled cheese sandwich. You ain't have parquet either to grill it. You ain't have no parquet that good butter. You had that big square block that just said butter. You got it from the church. Huh? Some pig in a can, or that cow in a can, or chicken in a can. I'm talking about struggle meals, them one-pot meals that we ate the last 2 or 3 days. Oh, we didn't know what it really was. We just know we was eating. Anybody ever had that, and now you don't have to eat that no more, and you appreciate what it is that you have because of what it is that you had? Follow me, walk with me, talk with me this morning. I know a preacher growing up at Christian Missionary Baptist Church, Reverend Motha Billings, a big old country boy out of Shelby, Mississippi. Say he grew up on Mr. Wooten's plantation. He used to get up there in church at the call of word and say, I don't know about you, but I'm glad this morning. I'm glad because the Lord brought me from cotton sacks to Cadillacs. He said the Lord brought him from wearing cotton sacks to being able to drive a Cadillac. In other words, the Lord done brought me from somewhere, and I'm glad. I appreciate what God has done. I can remember when Reverend Billings got a brand new Lincoln. He got there, he said, y'all just don't know. The Lord done brought me from the cotton field stankin' to a brand new Lincoln. I'm talking about appreciating what you've come from and what you come into. God needed them to appreciate, so they had manna. They were hungry. They started complaining. We had good food back in Egypt. And the Lord told Moses, I'm going to provide manna in the morning and quail in the evening. Get just what you need. I'm going to provide every single day. Don't worry about that. 40 years he provided every single day. They didn't have to ask for it. When they woke up, it was sitting there waiting for it. And they called it manna because they didn't know what it was. They didn't know it was a struggle meal. We didn't know it was a struggle meal. We called it supper, but it was the struggle meal. They didn't know. And I proposed this morning that the children of Israel, had they gone from eating good in Egypt to eating good in Canaan, they would not have appreciated it as much if they didn't have to eat struggle meals. God wanted appreciation, and God wanted total reliance from the children of Israel. See, before they went into captivity, children of Israel, they worked their own farms. They grew their own everything. They had their own animals. They were self-sufficient. Then they end up in a famine. Joseph rescued them. Joseph had reached to being governor over Egypt, although his brothers tried to take him out. Then they end up in Egypt, and they end up with government sufficient. They end up enslaved. Now they're really government sufficient. They got their hand, the government ain't giving it to them. They ain't getting it. If somebody ain't signing that piece of paper, I'm going to leave that alone. They ain't getting nothing. They were government sufficient. Oh, but when they got out in that wilderness, started complaining, because they remember government sufficiency and how good they had it when they could depend on the government to provide. And now that the government wasn't providing, they didn't know what to do. And God said, well, if the government ain't giving it, that means it's time for you to totally rely on me. Come on, somebody, I'm in 2025. And y'all ain't hearing me. God wanted them to be God sufficient. So he was the provider through the wilderness. He said, hey, I'm going to have it all set up when you get to Canaan. Tell somebody this morning, I only have what I have because of God. That's God's sufficiency. That's total appreciation and reliance on God. And can I tell you something? Can I tell you something this morning? I hope you said yes. If you say no, I'm going to tell you anyway. The children of Israel, y'all. See, that verse 2 and verse 3 I just gave you. The children of Israel are only receiving verse 1, which is the promise. That's what Moses talks about, the promise. See, 1 probably should have been behind 2 and 3, but I didn't write it. I would have put 1 behind 2 and 3. But they're only receiving verse 1 because they endured verse 2 and verse 3. See, verse 1 talks about the promise. Verse 1 talks about what God has for them. Verse 1 talks about what God has prepared for them that they haven't seen yet. Verse 1 is prophetic, but verse 2 and verse 3 is what they had to go through. I'm telling you, it wasn't negative. It was necessary. Make it plain, preacher. Oh, I sure will. See, y'all, I was fired one time from a good paying job. A good paying job with benefits. A lot of people stay on that job. They retire from that job. The job was very stressful. Took a toll on people, mind, body, and soul. A lot of people, health got messed up, strokes, all kinds of heart attacks, all kinds of stuff. Injuries, man, I tell you, because of that job. And it's a good job. Good paying job. Great benefits. I had a friend there, Reginald Henderson, Lord rest his soul, that we were about to get laid off one time. Possibly laid off. He got that warning letter, he broke down crying. See, Reggie had a bunch of health issues, and them good benefits, if he lose them benefits, he don't know what he gonna do. He lost sight of, hey, he's a retired Navy man. All he knows, this job got good benefits, and he getting the health care that he need for what he going through. He started crying, and I told him, God will not take this away without giving you better. He's not going to take this away without giving us better, allow it to be taken away. And that's the same mindset I had the day they let me go. They let me and another guy go that I pretty much grew up with. We've been friends since high school. We got fired the same day. Our interviews were one behind the other. We both went there. We both ended up with the same result. And I waited for him to get done so I could see what happened. We both got fired, and I thought about what I told Reggie, and I told him. And I won't call his name because he's still alive. He's a good friend of mine, just got ordained into ministry. I told him, look, we are leaving Egypt bound for Canaan. So I told him, see, this plantation we on, this slavery we going through, we getting about here, and God got something better that we about to go through. We were in Egypt, bound for Canaan. We had to go through something to get there. We didn't get there right away. A lot of people end up leaving there in a negative way. Some went back because they missed Egypt. They said it was too hard. Oh, life was too hard because they used to making this amount of money. They used to having these benefits. They used to this and that. And life was too hard. Some of them were going back to school. I knew some went to school for different stuff. But they went back because they needed what Egypt provided. But I came to tell somebody, sometimes you got to learn to let Egypt go. No. Not sometimes. All the time, you got to learn to let Egypt go and take God by the hand and become reliant on God. See, because some people who left that company in a negative fashion went on to better. Maybe not better paying, maybe don't pay as much, maybe not have the benefits, but some went on to better because it was better for them. Some went on to start successful businesses. Some went on to better health. Some went on to begin successful ministries and churches. Yes, what we experienced was negative, but it seemed negative, but it wasn't negative. It was necessary. It was necessary. If RH does not shoot me out of CBMC, I don't end up at NCL, HOPF, MBC. I'm talking out loud to myself, y'all, but letting y'all just hear my thoughts. If BE does not convince RE, and I'm not calling names and places unless you can catch on to the initials, but if BE does not convince RE that his choice for AP is doing too much, I don't end up at TUCC. If I don't end up at TUCC and I don't from there move to GI, I never end up at TUCCG. If JJ puts me to use at TUCCG, I once again become complacent and I don't start D2J. Okay, thinking out loud to myself about what I've gone through, and I'm just thinking out loud about some of the bad things that have happened, but they happened so that good things could. Think about that breakup you experienced and how things got better. Think about that marriage that ended in divorce, but life got so much better for you. Think about that job that you ended up having to leave, but things got brighter along the way. Think about what happened in your life that you didn't want to let go of, but when you did, baby, I tell you, what you went through was necessary. Because God had to humble you, he had to break you down, show you who you are not, show you who he is so that he can build you up. What you went through was your proving ground. He was proving you so you see what you're made of, so he could see how strong you are, so he could see how much it is that you could take, so he could see how dependable you are. He was preparing you for appreciation and bringing you into total reliance on him so that he can give you what he has for you that you ain't seen yet. Yes, you've had negative experiences. Yes, you had a minus placed in your life. Yes, you had that dash that can represent death placed into your atmosphere, but it don't have to stay that way. That dash comes to life when you insert a perpendicular. That's that way. Dash that way, that's that way. See, that's life. That minus becomes a plus when you insert a vertical. Minus, plus. I mean, put that vertical. I'm telling you, the negative becomes a positive when you insert an I. I am great. I am going to recover. I am healed. I am going to succeed. I am whole without you. I am going to be successful. I am going to be victorious. I dare you to put an I am up in the middle of your situation. I double dog dare you and see what happens. It wasn't negative, but it was necessary. Sidebar, y'all know I like my sidebars. I do them sometimes. Something about math. I love math all my life, just love math. But math taught me something, especially when it came to algebra and graphing. It taught me something, that no matter how deep you are on the into the negative plane, the more positive that you add, the further right and up you will go. Think about that graph. Picture that graph. It goes that way and it goes that way. See, your negatives go to the left and your negatives go down. But when you start adding positives, you start going up. You start going right. Yeah, that's what you seems like negative. Start putting some positives in there, baby. You gonna be going right and you gonna be going up. But let me tell you something. Beyond verse 3, because I just read the first 3 verses for you. When you look beyond verse 3, Moses starts talking about what they did not experience in the wilderness. 2 and 3, he talks about what they did experience. But 4 and beyond, he talks about what they didn't go through. He said, you walked around for 40 years and your feet never hurt. You never got bunions. You never got sores. You never got corns. Your shoes never wore out for 40 years. You've been wearing the same pair of shoes. Your clothes never got old. Your clothes never fell off. The moth didn't eat them. Let me tell you what you didn't go through. Moses say, let me tell you what you didn't go through. And the reason why you didn't go through it is because God was right there with you. In other words, if it was negative, it would have took you out. But God stuck around to make sure that it did not. All my brothers and sisters, David said, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. In other words, he says, I'm going through this valley, and I know what death can do, but I know that death won't do it because you with me. David also said, oh, if I'm on cloud 9 or if I'm going through hell, I know you're with me. Yeah, that wasn't exact words over in Psalm 139. But he said, if I ascend up into heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in hell, you still right there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, your right hand will still be right there to hold me. Your hand will be there to guide me. This lets me know that it's going to get bad. But God will not allow it to get as bad as it can be. My brothers and sisters, I'm done my little Easter speech for the morning. I'm going to go and wrap it up. I'm going to tell you something I like to do when I was a kid, and I still do it to this day. See, we had dictionary words in school. You had to go in the dictionary and find the definition of these words. This is how we learned what words mean. And I love to look at the top of the dictionary when I learned that when you look on one side, it tells you what this section begins with. When you look on this other side, it tells you what it ends with. I like to look at them words and see where it began and where it ended. And I like to look and see what came in the middle. I looked up the other day at the word necessary, y'all. And I saw necessary at the top of one page. And when I looked on the other side, I saw at the bottom, it said new. I said, oh, this is going to be interesting. Let me take a walk. Walk with me, y'all, and see what's going to be there. Let me see what words pop out between necessary and new. Well, when I started venturing away from necessary, which is something that is required, I saw the word needs. I saw the word needs, and I said, okay, between necessary and new, I'm going to have some needs. But I ain't get worried because I remember that the Bible said, my God shall supply all my needs according to his riches in glory. I kept reading a little further, and I saw the word negative. I know negative ain't a good word, so I know I'm going to have to go through some negative in order to get from necessary into new. So I wasn't worried about that either. Because I told you God will supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. So all I got to do is insert that out. I'm going to keep going up and I'm going to keep going right. Then I noticed the word neighbor, and I couldn't help but think, love the Lord your God with all your mind, all your heart, all your soul, and thy neighbor as thyself. Ooh, that's going to make life a little bit easier. But even though I'm loving my neighbor, I saw another word that said nemesis. So even though I'm loving my neighbor, I'm still going to have a nemesis. But I ain't worried about that because it did say my God shall supply all of my needs according to his riches and glory. So that nemesis of mine, I ain't worried about. Because also David, I remember the words of David, and I thought about that. He said, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When my enemies, that's my nemesis, and foes, that's my nemesis, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. They will fall, and I kept on moving. And I saw the word nervous. I thought about nervous, and I looked at that word and it said to be anxious, to have anxiety. And that made me think about over there in Philippians when Paul says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God which surpasses all understanding will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. So I felt a little better about being nervous. I kept going, and I noticed the word neutral, and I know that neutral is a blank space. I know that neutral is zero. Ain't nothing happening at neutral. But then again, math came to my mind, and I pictured that neutral plane that is dead in the middle of positive and negative. And I said, woo, it's dead in the middle. But then I thought about neutral on the car. See, look at your gear shift when you get in it. When you're sitting still, you're in park, right? When you shift, you start going backwards. Then another shift, you in neutral. You ain't going nowhere. You're just sitting there with the engine going. Ain't nothing happening. So if I go back to where I came from, I'm going in reverse. So it means I got to shift forward one more again. When I shift forward one more again from neutral, I'm going forward, baby. So I kept moving a little further, and I didn't see a word. I saw a phrase. I saw a phrase that said, never cease to amaze. I love David, y'all, because David was a songwriter, and I love music. And I thought about that song he wrote, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. I don't know what's coming up in the morning because it's dark at night, but I know in the morning, weeping, somebody said weeping, may endure for a night, but joy, joy comes in the morning. I don't know what's in the morning because it's dark, but I know when the sun shines, when the light comes on, I'm going to see something new that I never saw before, which takes me to the final word in that section, which was the word new, which meant not existing before, made, introduced, or discovered for the first time. And I must tell you, the first word came to mind was virgin. Then I thought about the word birth, because I saw first time, it made me think about virgin. I saw first time and knew it made me think about birth. Thinking of virgin birth made me think about Jesus. I don't know about you, but I come out that Kojic tradition somewhere, y'all. And when I think about Jesus and what he's done for me, my soul cries out, Lord, thank you for saving me. But I couldn't help but think about new. And so I know without Jesus, I can't get nothing new. I got to have Jesus with me. Jesus down in me, called the Holy Spirit, and he'll guide me into my new. The Bible says they who in Christ are new creations. The old is passed away and all things have become new. I'm walking in new this morning, and I know every time morning comes, he'll never cease to amaze. Morning by morning, new mercies I'll see. Yes, if I just keep shifting from neutral, I'll keep going forward, and I'll get to my new. Yes, I'm going to have to go through some necessary to get to my new, but I'm going to keep going, because one of these days, I'm going to see what John saw. John said, I saw a new heaven and a new earth descending down from God out of heaven. In that new city called New Jerusalem, he said there were some people there who'd gone through great tribulation and had their robes washed in the blood of the Lamb. I got to go through some necessary to get into my new, but I don't mind, because I see there's no more sickness, so I'm going to have to get through sickness. No more death, I'm going to have to get through death. No more separation, so I'm going to have to get through separation. But I also see some smooth golden streets that's going to make me appreciate this rocky path I have to walk in life. I see some diamond walls that mean I'm going to have to appreciate because I know I'm going to have to see these walls around me crumble. I don't know about you, but I know what I'm going through is not negative, it's necessary. What you went through, what you are going through, what you will go through, it ain't negative. It's necessary, because God got some new just for you. Be blessed, my brothers. Be blessed, my sisters. I love you. God loves you. Ain't a daggone thing you, me, nobody else can do about it.